And that's when I started getting into those exclusive spaces with celebrities, top producers, influencers. And that's where I started getting depressed. Mind you, I thought this rapper was dying. And then a manager said, nah, he just says that to stay relevant. You know, you always got to keep up the headlines.
Welcome back, Motivation Nation. It is your host, Air Gordon. Listen, this lady has a video that we're going to go ahead and do a reaction to. She was an actress and moved to Hollywood. And I do have some experience with this. So, hey, look, let's just listen and we're going to go from there. Let's get off into it.
A-list celebrity. I just moved back home from living on Hollywood Boulevard for almost 3 years, so let's talk about it. I'm a child actor, and so my entire life I just knew that Los Angeles was a space I needed to get to. I would always get to the top of casting, and they'd be like, sorry, we're casting out of LA. So once I got rid of all my boyfriends, I got my college degree, I got my parents on board, I was like, I'm going to LA. Like, I'm literally going. So I got my 3 cats, moved by myself.
Oh, sidebar. This has nothing to do with nothing. But is that a pole in the background? Okay, all right, okay, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Believe me, there's nothing wrong with that. I just noticed it. Wanted to see if anybody else did. Let me let her finish. Let me let her go on.
And I was like, I don't know anything, so I just searched Hollywood, and then I found an apartment on Hollywood Boulevard, like where the Walk of Fame stars are. And so once I got there, mind you, I'm a small town girl. Everything was exciting to me. I was making friends with the homeless men on the street. I was, the liquor store dudes, those are my best friends. The first year I was just kind of getting acquainted. I felt like Snow White, just being like, oh my goodness, what is this? Huh, huh. And then around 2 years is when it felt like Snow White running through that dark forest, just on loop and on loop. And that's when I started getting into those exclusive spaces with celebrities, top producers, influencers. And that's where I started getting depressed. Why were you depressed? Well, it was really weird being in the same space as someone who I thought had made it and seeing them have maybe even more desperation than I have.
Okay, let me stop her right there because she's bringing up a very, very important point here. And I've had multiple conversations with people in the past about this. People think because they see someone on television and they see someone in a movie that they're automatically rich just because they see these people on television. And especially now as it pertains to reality TV. And they don't understand the facade that is being put on. Everybody you see on TV is not rich and not making a lot of money. I did a reenactment on America's Most Wanted. I'll probably try to link it in this video so you guys can go and watch that. I did a behind the scenes on that, and it came on Fox. And to the untrained eyeball, you would think I made a whole lot of money. Now, I made a decent amount, but it wasn't enough money to quit my job or to do this full time. And people just automatically assume that the people that you see on TV have way more money than they have because of the facade that they put on to make people believe that they have all this money. I'll never forget I was watching a TV show get filmed in LA, and they advertised this show as being live. And as they were filming it, they messed up and they stopped. They said, "Cut, let's do it again." And they looked at us in the audience and said, "This is Hollywood. Nothing is real." So she has a point, but let me let her go on. But I'm just talking from my personal experience as far as being an actor and a stand-up comic.
Relevancy. And seeing that desperation just smoke off their bodies and they're still searching for this thing, I was like, oh, babe, that's depressing. I was at clubs where A-list celebrities and rappers would come in with a film crew. Mind you, there's only 5 people in the club, but if you go on Instagram that night, it looks like it was the most lit night. Everything is smoke and mirrors, babes. I was getting even more depressed. And then on top of that, a rapper came in. Like, a really, A-list, everybody knows this rapper, to perform that night. 5 people were there. And I was like, he has to leave his house to perform for 5 people to film it, to put it on Instagram, and then he's going to come up with a crazy headline. Mind you, I thought this rapper was dying. And then a manager said, nah, he just says that to stay relevant. You know, you always got to keep up the headlines. What?
Again, that's another good point. A lot of the stuff that a lot of these people say are lies just to stay relevant. And I'll tell you, it's a lot more difficult now for old school celebrities to be relevant with the advent of YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. It is now making quote unquote regular people actually become more famous than your old school celebrities. So the way that celebrities were created in the past, it will not be that way in the future. And what we knew growing up as being celebrities, they're not going to be. They're not movie stars. All of those people who look down on the social media stars are now trying to be social media stars themselves because that old school way of being relevant as far as being in movies and TV shows and all of those things are now taking second place to the quote unquote YouTuber, the quote unquote streamer, the quote unquote social media personality. So she's right about this part, but let me let her go on.
Brother, what? And then I also kind of discovered that if I want to get anywhere quickly, I do have to sell my soul. And what do they mean by soul? You gotta sell the goods. Okay? So, basically I realized moving to Los Angeles, Santa Claus isn't real. Santa Claus is Diddy. But it's okay. Because what I also discovered is that the idea of Hollywood, babe, Hollywood is everywhere now. As an actor, it doesn't matter. You can apply to jobs in New York, London, Atlanta. I'm in Utah, but I'm doing my self tapes at home. And if
I got to stop her again. She's right about this because now with the social media, it's funny because there was a time when you tried to get an agent. The old school way, you had to have a headshot, you had your resume, they bring you in to audition, and they try to see what you could do up against other people. Now the game has changed to a point where a lot of these agents want to know how many followers you already have before they even see you. They want to know what your presence is online. What are you already bringing to the table? So a lot of times, especially now, to get an agent, you already have to have some sort of a following on social media somewhere for them to take you serious. That's why you're seeing social media personalities in movies now. You're seeing them on TV shows now. And they're doing this stuff without necessarily having to audition. It's because these productions now know that these people have X amount of followers, they have X amount of engagement. So by having them on the project, that automatically brings free advertising and it brings X amount of eyeballs that we already can account for. So that's where the game is changing. It is changing. So no, she's right. She's right. No, you don't need Hollywood anymore. If you can build yourself up online, Hollywood or quote unquote Hollywood will come find you. But let me let her finish. So um, she's speaking my language because that's a lane that I do understand. I'm in that lane, have been in that lane, have been on network television before.
look, I'll just fly to LA and go do the shoot. It's not a big deal. So, actors, don't feel like you have to be in Los Angeles. I did go there to network and I did get representation in Los Angeles, which is good. So, that was like the one mission. I was like, just get repped in LA, get some support there. But you really don't have to be there, which is nice because I think that takes the pressure off because the hustle to afford my apartment every month made it so I could not do my self tapes because I was working in nightlife and I was just too tired and I was like, do I really want to do this vertical short right now? No, I never want to do the vertical shorts. And also, I just feel like maybe we gotta give the industry like 2 years to breathe and see if there's anything else other than the vertical shorts. My agent got some feedback from a casting director that my facial features don't fit Asian beauty standards, and that's why I'm not getting cast in vertical shorts. And it's like, I totally get it. Can we do something else for me? Like, I'm really not going to thrive in the Asian market, okay? I have way too sharp Middle Eastern features. They want me to look like a little dove. But anyway, yeah, so Hollywood scared the hell out of me. And it doesn't really exist, so you're fine. Just go visit LA. You don't have to live there to do anything prominent. It's everywhere now. I just
And the funny part about Hollywood now, there was a time. I keep going back to there was a time. There was a time when where predominantly all TV shows and movies were filmed in LA. They would go on location in different places here and there, but majority of everything took place in LA. That has most definitely changed. As a matter of fact, majority of the stuff is not filmed in LA anymore. They have broadened their horizons and they film in many other states now. So the opportunities are a lot greater for those that do not live in LA. So at this juncture, I don't think that moving to LA is necessarily the key or the answer like it was, I would say, 15, 20 years ago, right? 15, 20 years ago, if you were serious about being discovered, you had to pack up and you had to move to LA. Because even I thought about moving to LA. I went to visit LA to see if it was a place that I could live because I was chasing my Hollywood dream. But I just didn't, I couldn't do it. I had to take a different path. And so that's kind of what led me to YouTube. But now you don't have to pack up and move to LA to be discovered. Now it's about building your community, building your audience, and Hollywood then coming and finding you because you now have something to offer. But this was a good video. So for all of you all that want to understand what it is as far as the Hollywood and behind the scenes, hopefully this was insightful. And for those of you that are trying to break into Hollywood, hopefully this was insightful as well. But hey, let me know what you guys think about this video. Jump down in the comments and let me know. But that's it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.